Well, what's up guys, Keelan here from 2Cast3 Gamers, and this morning I'm looking at Tera Rising. This is the new version of Tera, the MMORPG that was originally buy to play and is now free to play. So this morning we're going to be looking at class selection and character customization. First we have the human. The music is very regal. The emblem is a sword with, it looks like a gear around it. You can choose male and female. Let's take a look at the girl here. Okay, so humans. The motto of the humans is alone we gain hope, together we gain victory. And if you read the description, they have a description very similar to the humans from Star Trek, and that they've been wandering around and gathering knowledge of other people's, and it makes them perfect to be in the middle of this sort of allied confederation of different races. So you'll know right off the bat that the character models are pretty mature. They look good though, especially the female character models can kind of get a little bit out of hand with the cleavage jiggling and skimpy clothes and whatnot. But nevertheless, it looks great. So with the human, you can choose male and female. Moving on to Castanic. These guys, their emblem kind of looks like something between a cross, a sword, and a rose. Anyway, the Castanic are kind of like dark elves or blood elves, if you will. Though a lot of people may assert that they are indeed their own race, and take into account that all of these groups have their own backstories in the Tera Rising universe. So, the music of the Castanics is very kind of bleak and grim, and they live in their own rather spiky part of the Tera world. Their motto is cunning, fiery, and ready to seize their destiny. These guys are pretty determined, they're pretty badass, and they don't have the best reputation in the Tera universe. The female Castanic is the one that has got all the attention. She's the one they've been putting on the front of posters, covers, etc, etc, etc. And she's the one that they've showed the most, I guess, mature outfits and skins around. I would even go so far as to say she is notorious. Anyways, the Castanics were by far the most popular race when the game came out, and I have no doubt that they continue to be one of the more popular races as we continue to do this playthrough. The Amani. The Amani are a big, tanky race. Their background music is big and tanky. You guessed it. Their emblem is the shield. They were originally a slave race, so their motto is freedom and honor are not given but earned. So after millennia as warrior slaves to the giants, Amani are enthusiastic about this new era of equality. And nothing looks more badass than a man with full tanky gear, with full tanky armor. They look really, really great. So let's take a look at the female character model. Again, very, very tanky, looks good. It's funny, she has this really, really cute face on this really big tanky body. So let's move on to the Papyri. Papyri! Very, very cute. This particular one looks like a beaver, but they can range anywhere from a beaver to a panda and everything in between. They really are just little furries. Their emblem is a tree, their music is happy, and their motto is nature is eternal. Papyri are nature. The Papyri were notorious at the release of this game because there was a Papyri slayer that was killing everybody he encountered, and yeah, they are very, very cute and kind of novel to this game. There are very few games that I can think of where you get to play a fat tubby furry right off the bat. Moving on to the Ellen. The Ellen is... I'm going to take back what I said about the Castanic female and say that the Ellen are the most controversial class in the game. The servers, the community was actually split over whether, when this game was ported over to North American audiences, the Ellen should be able to maintain her rather skimpy outfits considering she has a little girl's body, leading to many accusations of pedophilia amongst people who play Ellen, etc, etc. Regardless, I think she's a great addition to the game, and I think she looks great with huge sets of armor and that contrast between the small character with the huge weapons. So her emblem is a moon and leaves. Her music is kind of cute and light and airy, and her motto is innocent waifs on the outside, immortal spirits on the inside, imminent defeat to the other side. So don't be deceived by their cute looks. The Ellen are quite strong. Take into account hitboxes when you choose your character, because the Ellen may have an advantage in PvP being so small as opposed to something such as the Amani. Let's move on and look at the Baraka. Not the Obama type, but the character type. So the Baraka are kind of mysterious. They're large golem type creatures. They're charged. Their music is hopeful and kind of classical. And their quote is, "Knowledge illuminates the past, focuses the present, and kindles the future." You get a real sense of the scholar, the academic with the Baraka, and you will see that they lead the charge in the opening cinematic video, which is kind of cool. I must admit, if I had to choose anyone to be a leader of my army, out of these guys, it would probably be the Baraka. I mean, he's made out of metal, and his face looks like that of a statue. Pretty darn cool. Baraka would also be good as mage types, or caster types, I believe. And their emblem is the eye, sort of like the Eye of Horus, but we won't go there. Moving on to the next one, the High Elf. This is probably my favorite, and I'm sure it's going to be the favorite of a lot of people, though it seems to have been displaced slightly by the Castanics. So the High Elf. They're just really kind of pretty and dainty. Let's take a look at the female High Elf, because it's a little bit easier on the eyes. So their quote is, "Faith in others is nothing without faith in oneself." And everything about them is just kind of ethereal and really captures the essence of the elves. Their emblem is a thing. I'm not sure how you would describe that. But let's go ahead and create a High Elf. I'm not going to do the female because I do make male characters, generally speaking, but you don't always have the choice. For example, for Papyri, you simply have a furry. For Ellen, you simply have a female. And for Baraka, you simply have the male. It would be interesting if they introduced female Baraka, but I don't really think it would make that much of a difference. So let's move on to the High Elf male. Select the class here. And it jumps right into the class interface screen. Again, all of this is done really well. It looks very good. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different classes to choose from. Berserker, Burst DPS, melee, metal armor. If you've ever seen a video of one of these berserkers, you'll know that their weapons are way bigger than they should be, and they swing them around with tons of momentum, and they do huge damage. The Lancer is really the tank of the game. They have great armor, they have pretty good penetration with their lance, and yeah, I'm probably going to go Lancer, but just for the sake of it, let's go through all of these. So the Slayer is arguably the most mobile of the melee classes. They're ducking and dodging and running around, and they do great damage with their sword as well. In PvP, Slayers are great, though I don't currently know too much of the metagame as I have been out of the loop for a while. So moving on, the Warrior does good damage, and it also has pretty good armor. And of course, all of these are going to vary. For example, you can take the Warrior, who's typically a tank, but you can play the Warrior as an evasion tank, though I'm not sure that's recommended. The Sorcerer is your classic mage character. Looks great. You can sit back in a battle and just bombard people. Unfortunately, you do not have the same defense as other classes. Your Archer or your Rogue looks great. It has sustained DPS. The armor isn't so good, but of course the Archer is going to be your high damage champion. And as I always tell people going into these games, if you're looking to kind of get rich right away, you want a champion with good AoE so you can hunt down mobs as quickly and efficiently as possible. The Archer and the Sorcerer are both fantastic for that. Okay, so here we have the Priest. This is your classic healer, ranged, cloth armor, squishy in other words. Of course essential to a team, but going to die relatively quickly. The Mystic is kind of a combination. The Mystic requires a lot more skill to play. You're going to be a support healer, you're going to be doing range damage, you're going to be very, very squishy as well. I would say that if you're looking to really buff your team as well as heal them and kind of play that multifunctional role, go with the Mystic, but it requires a lot more skill. So who am I going to play here? I am going to play the Lancer. I think the Lancer looks really, really cool. And I like the idea of carrying around a giant shield and a lance with me. Wow, this guy is really, really, really skinny. Okay, so I like that hair. That looks pretty good. There is a huge palette of colors to choose from, absolutely ginormous, and a huge amount of different hairstyles to choose from as well. I'm probably going to go back to the original one that I was just looking at, but the variety is just absolutely astounding in this game. That doesn't look bad. That looked horrible. Yeah, we're gonna go with this. I like this. So what color hair do we want to give him? I mean, elves typically have blonde hair and whatnot. But do I really want to go the traditional route? Probably not. We're gonna give him dark hair. Take a look at his face here. Again, tons of features to choose from and a large palette of colors and shades. I see. So when you choose their face, you also choose their ears. Very cool. I think I'm going to go with this face. Simply because of the ears. Yep, liking it. Skin color, skin tone. Elves always have a very, very pale look to them, and yeah, I'm actually going to keep with the lore on this one and go for a really pale look. Looks pretty good right there. Okay, so adornments. Tattoos, accessories. I typically don't like to put too many adornments on my characters, but I do think that some of these look really good. So those both look really, really cool. We're gonna do it. Fine details. He does look a little bit like a girl, but that's okay. Again, this menu gives you so many options. You can manipulate eyes, nose, mouth, and ears. And I'm gonna keep everything the same just for the sake of brevity. And now let's see what our character looks like in different types of gear. Just scroll out with the middle mouse scroll wheel. Not bad. Looks pretty good. Now that's starting to look really good. Fantastic. This is by far one of my favorite looks, this armor right here. And that's not bad either. In fact, that looks pretty darn sharp. So let's take a look at the voice. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different types of voice. We're gonna go with that voice right there. I'm really tempted to go with 5. Okay, we're gonna go with number 3. And lastly, all we have to do is edit the name. Okay, so the name here has to be something cool because it's an elf, right? I'm thinking, what about Keelan? Oh, someone's already taken that name. Perfect. Lastly, all you have to do is click finish, and there you go, guys. You've created your character. Thanks for tuning in. This has been Keelan from 2Cats3 Gamers, and you have just watched character customization and class selection for